combine some situational hitting with the already, I think, pretty good defense and outstanding pitching.
Yeah.
You take a look at the SEC. I mean, we're 7-8, but we're arguably in third, fourth place. It's so clustered with it seems like half the conference is either 8-7 or 7-8. So you make a couple of moves here and there, and you find yourself easily hosting a regional.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Potential super regional if you can get through that.
And the gentleman that we had on yesterday was talking about with Southeastern 16 just about how jammed together this thing is, and it is absolutely jammed together at the top. I asked him where he thought Tennessee was. He said, well, I'd probably put the Vols, around 6 in the country, or 6 in the SEC right now, but they're in a cluster with about
four. Probably put you top 10 in the country, though.
Yeah, that's right. He said they're in a cluster with like 4 or 5 other teams sitting there at 6, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But really, if you think about it, if the Vols would have given up, would have gotten a couple of those games that could have gone either way, they'd be sitting right there near the top of the standings.
That's right, but this team needed to learn some stuff. They've weathered the challenges. The good thing was that, or the good thing is that they were in all those games.
Yep.
And there was a common thread there, the bullpen, or some decisions about the bullpen, whatever. But the boys just learned how to win, and I think much like we've talked about before. Concepts that you can't explain, but they're true, is a gamer is a gamer.
Yep.
There is such thing as momentum, Gary Danielson. And also, I think learning how to win and not lose is a skill, but learning how to win is definitely an athletic skill.
The esteemed Joaquin Ruiz is going to join us in hour number 2. He's a fixture in the Bay Area. We're going to talk with him about Dayday Ames, who committed to the Vols, signed with the Vols over the weekend, and it's very fun. It's very cool. So we'll visit with him. Watson Brown a little later on this hour, which personally I'm looking forward to. And then we'll get into some of the other things that we're hearing portal-wise as, the portal continues to turn and mix and match and moving around. And, this is going to be very interesting watching Tennessee and all these teams try to put this stuff together in real time, and it's literally pick-up basketball. But we have a lot to get into today, so we'll unpack Dayday Ames later on with Joaquin Ruiz. I also want to ask Joaquin, because he covers Bay Area other sports, I want to ask him his thoughts on Tony Vitello and the Giants. Tony took a bad job, man. It looked on paper like he was taking one of the top 5 jobs in baseball. They don't have a roster. They don't hit the ball at all. Last night they lost 2-1. 2 solo home runs beat them in Cincinnati. They're off to a rough start. This is not the start that they wanted to get off to. And, I just wonder if I don't know. I don't know. But here we are. What do you think, Cinco, if he had a do-over? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. It's again, I think he looked frustrated, like he was looking for a new challenge. I'm not a psychologist, and I don't know Tony like you do.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he was growing anxious, regardless of the national championship. So I don't know. Were they? I don't think they were thought to be a contender this year.
No, but they have no club.
Bringing juice in, but they can't hit, man.
No, they can't hit.
Believe it or not, I watched on MLB on YouTube. I'll watch their highlights the next morning, and they just can't hit the ball. I mean, I think they have the second worst record in the baseball, and they've got to be in the bottom 5 in hitting.
It's just miserable.
Yeah.
just miserable. Just utterly, absolutely, completely, and totally miserable. In 162 games of that, man, I don't know.
I'm not sure he's wired for that disappointment.
No.
He is a winner, and I think winning either on the recruiting trail or on the diamond, I think that's his oxygen.
Brian, last night, baseball team starting to hit the baseball. Manny Marin had himself an evening, did he not?
Or as some would say, Manny Marin.
Yep.
Shout out Georgia play-by-play guy down in Athens. But
yep.
Manny Marin had 6 RBIs in the Grand Slam. We're back to hitting Grand Slams, Tone.
Hey. And Negadave's got another point about Tony. Tony couldn't, his roster. Can't control your roster, Cinco, at San Francisco. You can't go out, you can't recruit out of that, the spot you're in. That looks totally miserable for poor Tony.
Correct. I'm sorry. And I think they set him up where he was going to be kind of like a caretaker, that they were going to rely on analytics and a lot. I think Ron Washington, Bocce, and some of those other guys to kind of help him out. But to add to the Manny stuff, I heard a third one. Someone said that in South Florida, a very common pronunciation of his spelling of his name is Marin. So it's MR is kind of like one sound, neither Marin or Marin. It's Marin. So we've got a third candidate for the last name of our shortstop.
Yep, and we got a Bocce. So Brian, we've got Bruce Bocce. Make sure Brian knows that, because that's what Cinco just called, which I love. I played bocce ball as a kid. It's Bocce. But Cinco, did you play? Did you ever? Cinco, did you ever play bocce?
I don't give a rip about Bruce Bocce.
Wait a second, Cinco. Inquiring minds want to know: Did you play bocce ball as a kid? Inquiring minds want to know.
I did not play ball. I played it. I was married to an Italian,
right?
And I went to men's club socials.
Yes, and you saw it, right?
Knights of Columbus.
There you go. You saw it. You know.
I know, baby. I've been there. And with a little vino and other guys are doing cigars and telling stories. Okay. But, bocce, tomato. I really don't.
Brian.
Again, I don't give a flip how you pronounce his name.
Brian Hartman, are you familiar with bocce ball? Do you know what bocce ball is?
I own a set now. Tony, I just bought one.
I know bocce ball was known for coming from ahead in Gainesville and against Oklahoma in your building when you're up 17. Is that where you kick a field goal on 4th and an inch from the goal line?
No, that's bocce ball. That was
bocce ball.
Oh, I see what you did there. Now we're back to botch Jones. No, bocce.
Is Bruce Bocce, as you say, is he the one with the town and country eyes?
Bocce. Let's go back to bocce ball. You have that little ball, and everybody has colored balls, and I did say color, and 4 people can play. But you have to get it closest to the little white ball. It's like horseshoes of balls. And then, of course, the 70s fixture that I like the best, and I'm going to bring Mike Andrews in. He's at Andrews Physical Therapy. They got a great thing coming up on Friday over at their spot over in the Carter community. They got me back to whole because this is the better half of Mary Michael Jordan, who gets it done, the queen of the spine over at Andrews Physical Therapy. Hey, Andrews, when you were a kid, did you ever play with the lawn jarts with the metal tips?
My dad was a doctor, Tony, so I wasn't allowed to do these dangerous things.
We had the metal tips. We would throw them at each other. It's amazing we didn't gourd each other. But, by the way, I've got a transfer portal update coming up. Some good news is on the horizon. And Watson Brown going to join us in a few minutes. But who's tracking here? All right, Mike Andrews, you fixed me, brother.
Well, Mary Michael Jordan did. I didn't have a lot to do with it. But I did hire her and then later on marry her. So I guess I get a little credit.
Yes, and my favorite thing about your story, your personal story, not that I want to bore anybody, but she made the first move on you.
Yeah,
Yaw!
I've never
Big
had that,
Big Saxy Mike Andrews.
probably the first time ever, though, Tony, for me.
Yes.
You know, I've never been much to look at.
I think you're an attractive man myself. But then again, I think I'm an attractive man, if that means anything to you. Hey, hey, Mike Andrews, tell us about what's coming up Friday at your spot, because I love you guys, man.
Well, I appreciate it, Tony. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to spread the word about it. We've been doing an annual community appreciation / patient appreciation barbecue at our clinic for going over 20 years straight. We typically do this once a year, and we accept donations. There's no charge for it, but people tend to be pretty generous in the Carter community, which is where I was born and raised. So, you know, I've got to give a little shout out to the community being so supportive. But we raise the money for different things each year. This year, the money that we raised is going to the Strawberry Plains Senior Center, who gets no funding from the county itself. They're in Jefferson County, but some of the senior centers, or I guess all of the senior centers in Knox County, they get some funding. But Jefferson County does not give it to the senior center, so we're going to make that our recipient this year. There's some good folks up there that can benefit from this.
And the barbecue begins when and runs till when, and you're cooking all the vittles.
I'm in the process of getting the smokers prepped and ready as we speak.
Yeah.
We're going to start serving at noon on Friday. That's the 17th, and we will wrap things up around 5 p.m. There will be several raffle things going on that people have donated to. These are pretty nice things that you can buy $2 tickets and $5 tickets for to win some of these items that people have donated to the cause.
I love you. I appreciate you. What's the address at Andrews Physical Therapy if folks want to come on out or check out more information online? How do they do so?
Well, we're on Asheville Highway.
Yes.
It's hard to miss us if you're going up towards Jefferson City. We're at 8020 Asheville Highway on the right going up, on the left coming down from Jefferson City. And I really appreciate you, Tony. I've always been a fan, long-time listener.
Oh, I love you, man.
Love you too, brother, and I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to spread this word. So as many people who want to come on. We're going to have some entertainment this year for the first time. My brother and sister-in-law are both musicians, and you need to get to know them anyway, Tony. But anyhow, they're going to be playing there. She plays mandolin, and he plays the guitar. And it's going to be pretty cool.
I'll tell you what, I'll be out there when we wrap up Friday afternoon. I'm looking for a place to play anyway. I'm inviting myself to that gig. I'm going to shoot me their phone number later on. We'll work up a set.
Absolutely. And, I'm also, not many people can boast and say that they have the legendary Art Reynolds assisting with the cooking and particularly the meat pulling.
Art Reynolds, last year before a Tennessee game, the man reached out and hugged me. I thought he was going to choke the life out of me.
He's got hands like a gorilla, dude. I'm telling you.
I'd like to play some lawn darts with him. You would take about 4 or 5 lawn darts to get him on the ground.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd do it, to be honest.
You're the man. Hey, Mary Michael Jordan put me back. I mean to tell you, she put me back into shape. You're the man.
Well, the good thing there, Tony, I have to give you a little shout out. I know it doesn't happen often.
Yep.
But hey, you did what you were supposed to do, too. That's the thing about therapy. We do what we do, but the patients have to do what they're told to do and instructed to do, and you do that. I called you the other day, and you were doing some else.
Oh, I'm still my stretches every day. No, I respect it. I respect that back area so much. I got on the floor last night and did it. And one of these days, I'm going to live stream myself. One of these days, I'm going to live stream myself doing that. Hey, Cassidy says she plays the spoons. Do you have a spot for Cassidy? Let's put a band together. Let's put a band together out there Friday afternoon.
Hey, my brother has been doing this since he was 8 years old, so he can find a spot for her, I'm sure.
You're the man. I love you, Mike Andrews. Andrews Physical Therapy on Friday from 12 to 6. Is that right?
12 to 5, Tony. But, hey, if you can't get there at 5, come on. We may have something left over.
Love you, brother. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thanks.
I'm very good at the details, Cinco. It's always been a plus of mine. The details. I've always been really good at the details, Cinco. Yes or no?
Tony B, you have been about the details since I've known you at UT 30, 40 years ago.
All right, when we come back, I believe, this is what I believe. The first piece to fall, and he's a big one, is this kid from Notre Dame. Now, I believe he is a big piece here. The question is he going to fall? We're going to get into that on the other side, and then we have some updates coming from the other direction. But we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Congratulations to Bishop Boswell, Brian. Looks like he's going to continue and take his talents to Maryland. I was reading a Maryland...
Buzz Williams. I didn't see that coming.
Well, I was reading a Maryland board last night, and they are highly urinated off with how little activity they have in the portal right now. See, here's the thing about what the Vols are doing. A lot of this is very slow and moving. Okay, fine. But the Vols are playing for keeps. And schools like Maryland, those traditional... Who was the kid, Johnny Johnson, that was from Knoxville back in the day, Sink, when we were kids? And he went up there and played at Maryland, and he had a really great career. We used to be on the outside looking in, looking at schools like Maryland. Now Tennessee is a high-have in the sport. Not to be confused with a high-hat, but a high-have. The Vols are a high-have now. And it is bizarre to watch, Sean. It's bizarre to think that we've got twice the payroll potentially to throw around as most teams in the league right now, most teams in college basketball.
Absolutely. You know, I was up in that area, and that was the Lefter Giselle, Gary Williams, Baltimore Dunbar putting all those guys out, them in Georgetown fighting for stuff. Lynn Bias had just passed away. I think, golly, for the fear of sounding ignorant again, I think Johnson was from maybe Bearden here and went up there. And, you know, they were a big deal there, but boy, not so much now.
So what happened is basically a delayed trade between Maryland and Tennessee. Tennessee gets Gillespie and Maryland gets Boswell a year later.
I'll take Gillespie.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think I would trade.
No offense, as you say, Tony.
No, that's a very interesting point, Bri. So Gillespie travels here, and Boswell travels there. I mean, any Vol fans? I don't even think Rusty, who was president, founding member of the Boswell fan club, would make that trade. We come back on the other side. This Jalen Harrelson guy is pretty important. Is a pretty important piece. We'll talk about it as we continue. And then Watson Brown joins. It's all ahead. We've got tons and tons and tons and tons and tons to get to. I remember the day, Cinco talks about Len Bias. Remember the day that Len Bias passed away? That was... that was one of the Saturdays in modern sport, those of us that were around back then. He was going to be, he was thought to be the next Jordan. Obviously, nobody's going to be the next Jordan, but he was the Boston Celtics. It took them a good, let me think here, 30 years to recover from that. 30 years. We take a brief timeout. We continue with more on the other side. I'm flyered up, flocused, and flared today with my Flyers in the playoffs. Totally pump. But we'll break it down scientifically with the portal here on the other side. The latest and greatest. I got some good news for you. Because as a wise man once said, isn't it nice to hear good news for a change? And you're going to hear it on the other side after this. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall.
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench Home Services' $79 seasonal tune-up now before the heat sets in. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 seasonal tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
It's baseball time in Knoxville. Your Knoxville Smokies are back in action and back home next week. Join us for a week packed full of fun with All You Can Eat Wednesday, our Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers. Come dance with the Smokies and fireworks on Saturday, and we're halfway to Halloween on Sunday. Woo! What a week! Reserve your seats now at SmokiesBaseball.com. Knoxville Smokies.
T to the B back with you. 865-200-5402 is the number. It's such an interesting time to be alive. This transfer portal stuff is nuts. And I told you yesterday, when you're in our spot, you just have to kind of ride with it. I can't tell you everything right now, but I can tell you, and I was sharing this yesterday, this Harrelson guy, though he's a late arriver on the scenes, is a really, really key piece to this puzzle. And so I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to grab Watson Brown. And I'm going to let Brian and Cinco respond to this, and then we're going to grab Watson Brown. Jalen Harrelson from Notre Dame, who, once again, last year was a McDonald's All-American. He's the highest ranked recruit to ever sign with Notre Dame in this recruiting ranking era we currently have. He's not up there with like Austin Carr and those guys back in the day when Notre Dame basketball mattered, but you know what I mean. In the modern era, he's the highest ranked player they've had, whatever that means. I think it means he can play. So he visited yesterday. Tennessee expects that they're going to get something done, and you're going to see something official in the next day or so. Might be later today, might be tomorrow, but they're in excellent shape with him. Again, all this stuff subject to change. I'm not saying he's 100% here, but I'm saying Tennessee is trending very, very well with him, and it's nuts. Okay? Terrence Hill from VCU is in. He has an asking price of around $3 million. Kansas did not meet it. And so he's here. Or he's coming in. I believe that Tennessee internally is willing to pay his asking price. So he's on his way to Knoxville now. And I believe that they're willing to pay his asking price. The Juke Harris thing, and last night I was talking Juke Harris with somebody, and Laura said, please quit saying his first and last name together. This whole thing with Juke Harris, you're driving me nuts. But the Juke Harris thing, Bri, Pete Nakos is reporting that it's trending very well for Tennessee. Tennessee's going to make a rain on this guy. They're going to make a rain on him. They're going to beat...
Can I ask an absolute stupid question?
Yeah.
I've seen it out there. Maybe I'm just a hope of whatever. I've seen the draft projections and all that stuff. I've seen you in the past 2 weeks go from a budget of 12 to 15, and I think you said yesterday $20 to $22 million a year.
Yes.
You're not prone to. I mean,
no, I'm not.
We're all nutty. You're not prone to hyperbole and just to get ratings and all that stuff. So
go ahead.
I trust what you're saying. Is there? I've seen it. I've seen the draft projection. Is there any 0.1 millionth of 1% chance that Nate Ament thinks? Get second thoughts about going to the NBA. I know I'm going to get crucified on chat, but is there anything, or am I just grasping for not even straws?
Well, let's back up.
We've got a loaded draft class this year, where if he comes back, he could vault himself from the 10 to 15 range into the top 5, and maybe go as high as the top 2 or 3.
So this is
because I was wondering why the budget keeps elevating, and I know the market keeps elevating. I was like, well. Maybe that I'll stick my neck out there. I'll be the stooge.
This is
the question.
No. This is a development. This is a development that's just occurred here in the last 36 hours with Tennessee. And let me back up. So, I told you internally while everybody was crystal balling him to Michigan on Friday, Tennessee feels very good about Juke Harris. They feel very good about him today. Pete Nakos is reporting that now. They feel very good about him. Now, he shares an agent with the Harrelson kid. which we've noted in the blog a couple of times. Let's move along. There's a new big man to keep in mind. His name is Jaden Hastings. He's from Boston College. And we'll see what happens there. He's not going to be super expensive. He's a 6'9" guy. Just a 6'9" banger. Gives him more depth on the inside. Won't be like a super expensive piece. Here's the thing. Tennessee is now in a pivot spot. Okay? And this is a new development. And shout out to Austin Price for being on this. Because we give credit where credit is due, but I believe it's accurate. Tennessee is chasing point guard 1. We believe point guard 1 is going to fetch somewhere north of $6 to $6.5, maybe even $7 million Tennessee's willing to pay. The guard they're trying to talk into the portal. Tennessee does have a contingency plan B, and I'm going to talk to Watson Brown about this. And contingency plan B is... Contingency plan B is... And Nakos is talking about this as at On 3 as well. And I've just run up the flagpole, and I do think it's in play. I don't know how in play it is because I don't know what's going to happen at the NBA level. But if Nate Ament slides, off the NBA board, Tennessee would be willing to make it rain on him in lieu of point guard 1. But they are looking to spend extra money on somebody that'll put him over the top. So even if they land the 4 guys that we're talking about above, the kid from Notre Dame, the Harris kid, I told you they have a ton of money. The kid from Notre Dame, the Harris kid, the Hastings kid from Boston College, either point guard 1, or you talk somebody off somebody else's roster, which we wrote about today, which they do have a list of those guys that they would work. Or maybe Ament. Look, I think the Ament thing's doubtful. I think it's a long shot. Now, Brian's right. This is a historically great draft, and his body did not cooperate this year. And maybe his body won't cooperate by draft time with him. I don't know. I'm not inside his anatomy. But I do think at the end of all this, if you have an extra $6 million laying around, why wouldn't you make a run at him and say, hey, man, come on back. Come on back. So talk to me. Brian Hartman, what do you think about the possibility?
Well, it looks like they're going to end up with a loaded roster, regardless if they get everybody that they're targeting. And it's still, I have a hard time really grasping Kansas and the way they have loved basketball, and it's pretty much all they have, not willing to pay to get a kid pretty much their entire roster just over. That's the concept that this fact that the Tennessee can take Kansas once is something that's really, we're living in a new world. And hopefully eventually that leads to a pathway to a place that the program's never gone to before.
Was this? Let me ask this: if it's Bino said something earlier in the week, and I know it caused a lot of people's feathers to get ruffled. I think they misunderstood what he was saying, but if they're gonna make this kind of commitment, does this somehow signal Rick Barnes' swan song?
I don't know, but I know they're going all in.
Because are they going to keep that moment? Are they going to keep that commitment next year and the year after and the year after?
I'm not inside the organization. I have no idea, but I know this. I know this. When you start talking about the possibility of taking a guy like Ament, paying him a ton of money, or paying somebody $6 million or $7 million to come off somebody else's roster. I mean, Tennessee's in pure flex mode in basketball, and before they went and visited with Juke Harris over the weekend, they, in fact, also went and visited with the two big boosters. Rick Barnes did, and I've talked with the great Watson Brown, presented by our friends at Simpsons Meats. And Watson, your delivery should be there today. And Watson, I had a friend who had something occur terrible with them. A friend of mine, his wife got injured, tending to their dog who left their house to pass away, which is a terrible story. They're a longtime dog. He went out in their yard to kind of like lay in, and she went to fetch him, and she fell in a hole, Watson, and like compound fractured her ankle. Can you imagine that? How sad that is?
No, that's
going after your little doggy. Anyway, I used that opportunity to send some Simpsons Meats up to them, and I know that that's, it's just a little gesture on part of Lauren and myself, but that's what Simpsons Meats. That's another great use of what they do, because they're going to get some special treats in a really tough time for them. But Watson, welcome in. I love you, my brother. Great to talk to you.
Glad to be on, guys.
Crazy time, man. This portal deal. We were just talking a second ago. There's a possibility, I think it's remote, but there's a possibility that Nate Ament could come back for a second year simply because this NBA draft class is so loaded. And you could sell to him that, hey, if you come back next year and land in the real top of that draft, you can make life-changing money and start your career in that way. It's really tough in this day and age to delay gratification, though, Watson, for these kids, is it not? It's just really hard. It's just not a part of our culture anymore.
Well, it's a little easier now when you can pay them that kind of money to keep them around. Matter of fact, there's a lot of guys getting paid a lot more in college than they're going to get paid if they went to the NFL or the NBA or whatever. So I think it's a whole lot easier to keep one. If I was him, man, I would come back. If he's down a little in the draft, and it's obvious what his issues are, those are fixable issues. Getting stronger, getting another year of handling physical play against him, like really from about mid-season on, they put on him. I just personally, if you're going to pay big money like that, I would come back if I was him. But that's just me. But I think, Tony, it's easier to get them to come back now because there's money involved. Before it was nothing, and now I think it's a lot easier to do that. There's guys that are going in the draft. If Pavio at Vanderbilt was 2 years younger, there's no doubt in my mind he'd come back. So, I mean, I just think the money now is such a change that it's easier to get one come back. If I was a coach, I wouldn't recruit them back, but when I saw an opening and I would, that's a way you could get them to come back, pay them more money.
You and I both know that Rick Barnes is not afraid to ask for the order. Never was at Texas, and he's a great guy to have in this era because before they went and met with their signature recruit so far on their board, this Juke Harris kid who's way on up the charts if you look at the transfer portal, he went and sat down with Tennessee's. We reported 2 signature boosters over the weekend. This guy is kind of politically, Watson, we've talked about it, but he pretty much knows how to play the game, doesn't he?
He learns it quick. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I would say, are they going to keep paying this money? It depends on the money that's coming in. Are these Rick Barnes close friends, real close friends, that when he leaves they might not? If it's just boosters that want to win, I'd say they're going to keep doing it because it's the game now. If you don't, you don't win. There's one definite in college sports and the big sports, football and basketball. Mm-hmm. There's one definite now, and it's money. If you don't have the money, you're not going to win. You're not going to win big, and that's just flat fact. That's not the way it was. The ones that won big were the ones that had the tradition and the fan base and all of the things we can talk about forever.
Yeah.
But now all of that's been passed by one thing: money. And Indiana proved that. Texas Tech proved that. I could probably list about 15 of them that proved that this past year, and it's going to happen again. It's going to keep happening until there's some kind of cap put on this, and I don't know how you can. If it's collective money, you can cap it, of course. But if it's NIL, if it's name, image, all that, that's open season. You can get as much as you want from that. That's why I'm telling you, the schools that are in these cities, like Knoxville or Nashville or Houston or all the big cities, got a much better chance because of everything in that city that could hire them to do this or that or represent them or whatever. And I think those folks are also at an advantage.
I just think the whole thing's crazy, and
crazy.
It's complete.
Crazy.
But here's the thing: you're head coach now of an SEC football team. Your absolute job is to really get to know those high-level boosters at each school. You better be able to call on those guys, Watson, when you need them.
Absolutely. The old coach that's in there all the time now, like in the old days, the hands-on coaches, and then there were the political coaches, and they were all good. You could win both ways. But now it's really hard to be a hands-on coach in those meeting rooms morning, noon, and night, and all of that kind of thing. It's really hard because you have got to go out and get the money. You have to.
Have to.
And then with that money, you have to win.
Yes.
In some ways, you can put a team together. I mean, look at your women's basketball coach. She loses every player.
Yep.
And yet she's already brought in 6, and she'll have a whole brand new group.
Yep.
When you had players that were disgruntled and leaving my time, you just lost them. Mm-hmm. You could bring in 25 guys. You might bring in a few junior college guys. You couldn't bring a transfer in. He couldn't play for a year. I mean, you had to live with what you had. So it's a lot easier now to fix things than it was in the old days. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is a lot easier to fix things now, Tony, to me.
Yeah, and like Barnes, right? You put together this great team. All of a sudden, you go out and lose 11 games like you did this year. They're going to be all over you, like white on rice. That's the trade-off here.
That is the absolute trade-off. Is there is more pressure to win immediately. This thing of, okay, we're going to give them 3 or 4 years or whatever to build a program. It's one now.
Yeah,
it's 1 year because they expect you. They know you can win in 1 year now. That is a possibility for sure in basketball. I think it is football too. But you just have to have fewer players in basketball to do it. And so, yeah, it's a trade-off. The good is you can fix something quick. The good is you're making more money yourself, and your players are making more money. The bad is you better win. They're not going to have any patience with you whatsoever.
It's an interesting thing, too. It's such a – you think about how nimble you have to be a coach today. It is without a doubt, like the Chaz Coleman story that we sort of broke open last week on the air inside Tennessee's football program. Janoy, what's up? And you just have to be nimble with these guys today. You cannot be wooden literal. I'm paying you now. I can't bite my nose off to spite my face. I can't be old school with you and kick you off a team because now I have an investment in you. A friend was telling me a story about Bill Parcells with Lawrence Taylor back in the day. He said Parcells would sit there at practice and go, come on, Lawrence, I need you to run this play. Like basically reasoning with him. And Lawrence Taylor was that good that even an old school guy like Parcells had to sort of meet Lawrence Taylor where he was that day on the practice field. Everybody doesn't have the same rules, Watson, I guess is what I'm getting at here. And now it's really the case.
It is, but I'm telling you, the old tough dude like Bill Parcells, I was with him for a year at Vanderbilt and got to know him really well. And even those old hard-faced, and they give you that image, he knew how to handle each player.
That's right.
He knew exactly how far he could take each one of them. And I watched him. I mean, I watched him take them to the brink, but yet he knew when to back it down. And that's why he was a great coach. And so I don't totally agree with that. I think these tough guys, they know how to adjust. They do. You can't be that way. You couldn't in my time. You couldn't just be a complete whatever to kids. You couldn't do it. They were not going to play for you. I've said to y'all many times, you have to respect the coach and you have to trust the coach. And if you're one of them old crusties that done that, they're not going to have either one of those. They won't trust them or respect them. So, but I grew up being coached by some of those guys.
Yeah.
My high school coach Tony. I'm telling you, he was tough. He is an old military guy, and he was tougher than nails. And I was a pallbearer at his funeral. Once I got through playing for him, I had so much respect. And anytime I got in trouble, I'd call him. He was my second dad. So he was one of those. He was exactly that. And yet, at the end, I loved him like he was my second dad.
Well, here's the deal, right? I want to ask you about coaches that make an impact. Coach McGinnis down there in Nashville. Boy, he came on the scene there. Man, you talk about some of the things that people have said with this guy in tribute. Watson, were you around him? Did you know him much?
Professionally. But I know a lot of people that know him personally. And I've never heard anything except great guy. Mm-hmm. Just a great guy. I mean, when I was around him, I would feel like I felt like he was all in for the team. He was one of those kind of people.
Yeah.
That he would do whatever he needed to do. He didn't have an ego. He loved what he was doing. He loved Nashville.
Yep.
And my gracious Tony, a very good man, and got sick in March and died in April. Man, we all got to smell the roses. Life is precious. And sometimes we just see the glass half empty way too many times in our lives. And I look back myself at 76. He was 74.
Yep.
And I'm 76, and I look back, and if I have a thing I'd like to do over, way too many days, way too many times the glass was half empty.
Rod Delmonico told me that.
It's precious to live in this world we live in.
Oh my gosh, man! Every day. Rod Delmonico told me Friday we were talking. He said, I said, what thing would you tell a young Rod Delmonico who was chasing all those College World Series appearances? And he said, I never stopped enough to enjoy the journey. He said, so now, as I'm older, he told me this off the air, I go outside and get outside and just kind of will sit and just kind of try to slow the clock down a little bit. Just enjoy every minute.
Man, dude.
Pretty fun,
I can talk now from experience. And most of the time when I'm talking to you guys on this show, it's about mistakes I made as I came up through them.
Yeah, sure.
And as a dad, as a human being, as a coach, as an athletic director, I mean, I'm talking in ways that I messed up. I don't have all the answers, but I can look back and know there's things I would have done different. And one of the main things I would have done different is too much stress, too much anxiety, look at the glass more half full than half empty like I did way too many times. And
there's a line there. Like, I'm in business for myself, right? So if I choose today, I could really, really hustle and give myself a raise, if you know what I mean. Or I could live a balanced day and not drive myself into the ground. So every day is kind of, and there's not that I want to bore anybody with that, but that's in coaching. That's sort of life, what it's like, Yeah, that's life.
That's life.
Right.
That is the hardest decision I think we make as human beings.
Yes.
Is how far do you go professionally, and how far do you go with your family?
Yes.
And I dealt with that my whole career.
Yeah, and I've dealt with phone lines like that. He just got detonated, Joshy Boy style. Hopefully he calls back. But Coach Mack in the Mid-State, those of you that know him, and apparently a lot of folks did, I've heard zero crosswords about that guy in his pretty sudden passing. Hopefully we reconnect with Watson Brown. Brian, does the thought of Nate Ament, that's not on my Singo card. I still think that's very remote, but I do think it's worth acknowledging because I think they're starting to acknowledge it as a possibility. If you're them, Bri, do you chase point guard 1 or Nate Ament? What would you do if you had that bag?
You have to question whether Nate Ament can stay healthy for an entire year, kind of like you have to question JP Estrella, because Nate Ament's still kind of, unless they put a lot of weight on him, he's still real frail by comparison to some.
It's pretty interesting. That's a good discussion we'll get back to. Watson Brown, I bring you back in. One more passing I was wanting to ask you about. Sort of a contemporary of yours, Scrap Iron Phil Garner passed away. What are your memories of Phil Garner, if any? I know he was a great athlete here in the Knoxville area at Bearden. Did your paths ever cross?
Yes. Again, not much, but yes. And one of the hardest, a really good athlete, yes, but one of the hardest working dudes that I've ever seen. I mean, he was just a grinder, Tony. He was an absolute grinder, and I can put him in the top 10 of that from anybody I've been around. I put him that high up. Ability, but yet made it off of just work ethic, man. Man, could he teach young people a lot. Losing him is tough because he could teach them and he could tell them all about it, and because he did it. He absolutely did it. He worked harder than I ever worked. I can promise you that. I always thought I did, but I'm telling you, that guy was a grinder.
What's really interesting to me, too, about him, and I grew up on National League Baseball, in the 70s.
Yep.
Nobody tougher than that dude. Nobody got more out of his body than that guy.
No,
as in nobody.
I'm telling you, he's top 10 with me. He's top 10.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think he had really good ability, but he worked so hard, and everybody would talk about that, and then it overshadowed his ability. But he made it off of work ethic. You've got to have some ability to get there, but he made it off of work ethic, no doubt in my mind whatsoever.
Hey, Watson, so spring ball just concluded, right? We try not to make I'm trying not to come to conclusions on these quarterbacks because you and I have talked about this. They're very much works in progress, and you can't judge where guys are. G-Mac, what I hear, boy, his highs are pretty high, but his lows are pretty low, and they would love for him to get to a point where there's some consistency there, but it's just not there. And, man, at this level, if you can't iron that out, that'll get you beat. Because that's the stuff that gets you beat at this level, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's one position that cannot be inconsistent in football. One. You can get away with some of the others, but one can't be, because that position can beat you quicker than you can win a game, and that's the quarterback position. So he's got to work that out. I think he will. I would think it's all in experience. I can remember I got to play freshman ball, Tony, and it was we played 5 games. It's serious business. I mean, there'd be 10 to 30,000 people at a game.
Yeah.
And it was in those days you played 5 SEC opponents, and you practiced by yourself the week of those games. I mean, it was serious business. So I had a little experience, but I can remember going and playing my first game. I was a nervous wreck. My first start, I was a nervous wreck. And by the second and the third one, I was ready to roll. And, man, you talk about major improvement from game 1 to game 3. They got, Furman. They got Kennesaw State. They got to go to Georgia Tech. They got to be careful there and just maybe win that one with talent and defense. But he's got 3. I think, 4 of their first 5 are at home. So I think he's got time to get better. I think he will, because I think it's all just inexperience. Just inexperience. That first start, I don't care what you say, you're very nervous. You are a very nervous man.
You know what's weird? They missed a spot last year, Watson. Now you look back on it. Now that we know Joey Aguilar is playing with a tumor in his arm, and it hurt his ability to throw, they should have let that kid play some at the end of last season, just to give him a taste of it. Unless, I guess, the thought is we don't want to put him out there. We don't think he's ready, and we don't want to ruin him. Do you think that ruins young kids if you put him out there too soon? You think that's a thing, Watson?
I don't think it can ruin them, but I think it can slide them back. It might take a little more time to get them there when they taste embarrassing defeat and just not do well at all. So you got to be very careful with that. The inconsistency this spring would have been there last fall. And they're trying to win games, Tony. It's easy to say now, well, you lost to Vanderbilt at the end, you didn't get in the playoffs, blah, blah. But they're right in the middle of it still late in that year. And they're doing everything they can to win. So they knew he wasn't ready to go out there and do it, and they knew they needed to play with Joy even with a bad arm, that he was the one that could get them there. And it wasn't Joy late in the year. He did not play that bad. He didn't play as well as he did early.
No.
But he also didn't play that bad either.
Something obviously had happened to him.
No,
but,
you got something in your throwing arm like that? Gracious. And that thing evidently was growing during the year. So my hat's off to him, because you know what? He never made one comment.
No.
He never made an excuse in any shape, form, or fashion. And the only thing that ever come out of his mouth, good or bad, is, I'm so proud to be a Tennessee ball. Man, everybody ought to hug him for the rest of his life.
I respect that like there's no tomorrow. And
Me too.
I wonder, though, if they had a do-over, if they would go and get a quarterback out of the portal. But who the heck? I think they tried with the kid from Arizona State, because now you got GMAC. I'm telling you that what I hear on him is the consistency point is just highly concerning for them. Can you iron that out over the summer, Watson, or is that something that you just got to take into the season and iron it out with live play?
You don't just got to iron it out in the summer. You got to have it ironed out by Texas. You got to have it ironed out by Texas. He's got to be ready to go by Texas, because they can win 2 of those 3 and probably all 3 without him playing great.
Yes.
So get him the reps, get him the reps. If they're going to play 2, that's going to take some of his reps away. They may have to. They may have to play both. Because if you're going to play 2, you're also giving that second one more reps in practice than if you're just playing 1. And
that's
a true
the point.
backup that doesn't go in. So that's, to me, a big decision to watch.
Yeah.
And I know you all know I'm not big on that, but they may have to.
Yeah.
You got to do what's best for your team, and they may have to do that. But I still say that's not going to be the issue. I think that by the time Texas get here, he will be. One of them will be a solid player, and I think it'll be McIntyre.
But you make a good point. They're going to have to split those. They're going to have to split those reps till they figure it out. Yeah, that's a good point.
If you're going to play 2, you're getting half the reps. And I'm telling you, if there's one thing from 43 years of coaching quarterbacks, rep. They got to get them, man. They got to get them.
Hey, Watson, I got good news for you. You want it?
Yeah.
You've got unbelievable steaks. You've got a little chicken. And I put a little Zazich in there for you, a little Italian Zazich. This time around, our friends at Simpsons.
I'm looking for the truck when it comes up to that.
Our friends, give that man a hug and give him a tip. Our friends at Simpsons Meats, presenting Watson Brown, they raise and source their meat from farms on pasture on purpose since 1888. It's a family tradition on Jim Simpson's farm. And whether it's steaks or burgers or sausages, roast chicken, and Watson's got some steaks, some burgers, some sausages, and some chicken in his box. They also, at their local butcher shop, have milk, honey, jam, eggs, and so much more. The best of East Tennessee and our community has to offer. Also, great gift boxes. They ship all over the country. Like I told you, my buddy Joe, I sent one up to him today. And Watson, yours is in the mail, my brother. I'd like a full report next week.
You're going to get it.
Thank you, my friend. Much love to you.
Love you all too.
The great Watson Brown one more time on his Wednesday appearance. Upon the continuance, ladies and germs, we visit with a guy from the Bay Area. And no, we're not talking about Tony Valls. We're talking about the man they call Dayday Ames, who can dribble, who can shoot, and who's one of the newest volunteers. Also, if you missed our portal update, we'll repeat that a little later on in the hour. And Watson Brown with some good stuff. 865-200-5402. Here's a game I'm worried about, Sean, as I think about our football season next year. How about Georgia Tech, guys? How about if we start? I'm concerned about the Georgia Tech game. I'm thinking that game's in play, y'all. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I'm kind of thinking that game's in play.
It won't be a pushover for sure.
Yeah.
Brett Key can coach.
I'm thinking that game's in play.
That'll be a full-quarter football game.
And shout out to my boy Janoy over on the chat, who's like a professional button pusher almost, like a stone breaker. He's wilting. He's wilting today before our very eyes. So for Janoy today, as we take a brief time out, shout out to you, Janoy. We love you. We continue with more on the other side and roll it on back right after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready, because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, when you schedule any HVAC or plumbing repair, your service fee is waived with the completed repair. That means expert help fast without the extra cost just to show up. Our certified technicians will quickly diagnose the issue and provide reliable solutions to make your home comfortable again. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when help matters most. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. Schedule your repair today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Service fee waived with completed HVAC or plumbing repair. Restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Chilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. Living every day in the portals. I welcome you back. Tony Basilio back with you. Living that portal life. That portal dream, if you will. I was just talking to Joaquin Ruiz about that, who's a fixture in the Bay Area covering many sports. And I was just poking around with him on Tony Vitello and that ragtag group of Giants, but we're going to stick to the Cal Golden Bears, and we're going to stick to Dayday Ames. And Joaquin Ruiz, I welcome you in against the backdrop. Man, I appreciate you jumping on with us on short notice, and it is great to welcome you to our Tony Basilio show. I hope you're well, my friend.
Thank you. I really appreciate the shout, and excited to talk whatever. Dayday Ames, let's get it.
Well, you were telling me off the air you're an LA kid, and you're out in the Bay Area, and I'm gonna tell the listener that's never been to the Bay Area, that is one of the most beautiful spots in our country. That is a beautiful place. And it's also home of Amoeba Records. Amoeba Records is, they've got a great location at Haight-Ashbury, the Summer of Love and all that, and then another one in Berkeley. So you're in the middle of vinyl heaven out there, my friend.
Yeah, it's a great place. Like we were talking about off the air, it was a little bit of a culture shock for me, growing up in SoCal. But again, California, it's all pretty good looking if you look for it. And the Bay has treated me well, man. Nothing but culture. I'm simple. I like water, food, and views, and that's all out here. So it's been great.
Yeah, I'm kind of a simpleton, too. All I need is kind of a guitar in tune and a decent day outside, and I'm a happy man. As we visit with Joaquin Ruiz, who covers Cal and does it with the greatest of ease. I'll let him tell you his coordinates here momentarily. All right, let's talk about Dayday Ames. Man, I look at these guys, 4 teams in 4 years. That always concerns me. But Dayday Ames, I understand, can really do it on the offensive end. Share with me what Tennessee's getting in this young man.
Dayday, he reminds me of almost like a Jamal Crawford type of scorer, just someone who can really get to where he needs to go, silky smooth. I think he loves, finishing around the rim and kind of that mid-range game, but he really showed with Cal that he can, take it behind the arc and shoot some threes. He's someone who, what I really like about him, especially with the transfer portal era, where you just got guys who are all coming into a program, maybe don't have the chemistry that teams that have had guys for years have. Dayday's a guy who late on the shot clock, if he's going to get the ball, you're confident in the look he's going to get. Even if it's contested from 30 feet, you have a feeling it could go in. And I think Cal definitely did not want to lose Dayday. He's someone who really flourished in Berkeley. But like you said, it's another stop for him. But I think Tennessee fans are really, really going to be happy with how he plays. Unselfish guy, too. Like off the court, on the court, he's just a good personality.
Tell me about that. Unpack his personality for us, because that's I know Barnes doesn't fool around with guys he doesn't think will not be team-oriented.
Yeah, no, Dayday in post-game press conferences, at least, always type of guy who to shout out the guy next to him, shout out the team. When things go bad, he's always looking for a silver lining or some optimism. And then from what I understand off the court, he's just a cool dude, same guy. He doesn't talk too much. It's kind of his MO. But when he does, it's usually about some sort of group effort, team effort. He's never a me guy. And it shows up on the court. He's looking for the open guy as much as he likes creating his own shot. If there's a guy open, he's going to make that pass. Or if he sees a vision for something, he's going to set it up. So he's a good dude all around.
How much of what Cal did offensively was he a part of?
I'd say he had a good maybe 60% of at least the facilitation. Him and Justin Pippen back there, who's now at Ohio State, kind of ran everything. But I'd say Dayday, he's someone who, whether he was just spotting up in the corner or just kind of figuring out what was going on, he was definitely the centerpiece when he was out there, even if it didn't look like it at times. But with that said, I'll give him that. In this day and age, he can play on ball, off ball. I think he's an underrated catch and shooter. But at the same time, I think he's best at kind of with the ball in his hands, maybe like a pseudo point guard. Like I said, Cal had Justin Pippen, so it was an interesting dynamic. Both were kind of ball dominant, but Dayday, I think, is more of a pure shot creator, but passing is a good, second option for him.
Yeah, Tennessee kind of sees him having a hybrid role in the SEC and, into tournament play as well. Somebody that can help him in both spots, but probably more of a 2-guard, right?
Definitely more of a 2. I think that's his natural spot. He could play the 1 if he needs to, but I think it's just not in anyone's best interest for him to be kind of out of that 2 spot.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do with him. Is there anything else on Dayday Ames you'd care to add? Okay. Defensively, I got to ask you about it. I keep hearing this guy can't defend or doesn't defend, or you got to play a little defense to play for Rick Barnes. Tell me about him on the defensive end.
Defensively, and relative to Cal, I think he was fine. He was never like a blatant short guard who was being attacked, anything like that.
Okay.
I think he can hold his own. He's someone who he gives me sort of like James Harden vibes at times, where it looks lackadaisical, but if you actually watch him, his hands are active. He's someone who's kind of, I think, catches offensive players off guard because of how quick he is laterally. You see that in his offensive game for sure, but he reminds me of a cat. Like he's someone who you just be chilling, but the minute there's some threat or something he's got to kind of tap into, he's going to lock in. The feet will be, shoulder width and hands up. So he's a good defender in my book, but maybe at Cal, it looks a little different than it'll look in the SEC. But I don't know. Cal had some good competition. We played Duke, North Carolina, and he held his own just fine. So he's no blatant eyesore on that end of the floor.
Joaquin Ruiz taking a few for us, covers Cal. and Golden Bear Sport. Also works for NBC Sports out there, covering all Bay Area sports. And you and I were talking off the air. I cannot not ask you about the Giants, man. They did not leave my man Tony Vitello much of a team, my brother.
It is, like you said, it's an interesting group out there. Obviously, not looking the greatest in the NL West right now, but like we were saying, it's early.
Sure
I think he's got to, he needs to, just kind of lean into the roster he has and see if he can get. I think his personality gets a lot out of the guys, which I think is good. Drew Gilbert kind of did that last year with some of the vibes he brought to the clubhouse, but like we were saying earlier, it's when you have the Dodgers in front of you, I think it adds that extra the pressure. And the Giants have just kind of had underwhelming performances from guys who, are getting paid the big bucks. I think someone like Willie Adames is like inconsistent.
Yeah.
He's had his moments and then he kind of disappears. Especially in the leadoff spot, it kind of sets the tone for games. It feels like at times. But like we said, I think he has a long season to go, obviously. And if he can kind of crawl back into that race, especially when you face the Dodgers, they can have a good series or two against them. I think it gives a lot of confidence to the guys. But Vitello, I think he's handling things fine. He's under a microscope out here, and I think he's handling things, relatively well after maybe a few earlier odd comments, but I think he's settling in now.
He's under a big-time microscope, isn't he? Like, I've been following their chat boards, and the fans have seemed like they've been pretty kind to him, but it seems like he's got some guys in the media that really sort of have it out for him early on. Like, he's not one of us. He's not a major league guy. He's not a pro baseball guy. Almost like they're rooting for him to fail or something. It's an odd deal.
It's very odd, especially when considering the Giants are coming off, years with Bob Melvin, who was very, the older, more seasoned veteran who was considered mundane and boring and not the most exciting guy. And he's a Cal alum, too. And, he's a local guy, and not everyone was down for his tenure, but Vitello, it's just a case of, people don't know what they want. And I will agree. The media members around here, they're just looking for someone to blame because the Giants are being the Giants again. Shocker. And Vitello, he's not getting a fair shake because he's this youthful guy. I think they're already trying to, lump him into the Gabe Kapler category or something.
God, don't ever do that. Gabe Kapler. Look,
that's what they're trying to do, man.
I'm a Phillies fan. You just trigger. I'm gonna have a freaking headache this big, man, from you giving me Gabe Kapler's name on the air here.
I think Giants fans just see a guy who is an 80 and they think they're all the same. They're not used to it. So he's give him a few more months.
Joaquin Ruiz, you're my man. If you can, give the living listener the coordinates if they want to interact with you, and I appreciate your time, my brother.
Yeah, appreciate it. You can find me on Twitter at Joaquin Ruiz, spelled like you're walking down the street, and then my last name, Ruiz. I cover Cal and the sports throughout the Bay. And then after I graduate in, a month in May, I'll be heading down to the LA Times to give more coverage back home where I'm from. So
let's go, man.
On, man.
Congratulations. Hey, congrats. You're going back home. Congrats, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
That's awesome. All right, buddy. Good talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
He shouted out the Giants. And the fact that, you can, there are some media people just being totally unfair to this Vitello guy. Gabe Kapler literally bragged about how he would eat like a treat, Brian, a candy bar. He would chew it up, and then he would spit it in the trash can. He would not let himself swallow candy. He would eat ice cream that way. He would sit there and kind of paw it around in his mouth a little bit and then spit it out. And then he was so vain that he bragged that he used coconut oil on, shall we say, how do I say this to you? See, how would Rob Troxler out there at Carnes Motors say this? Undercarriage.
Is he the Butch Jones of baseball?
The Giants' only series victory, Brian, occurred against whom?
And I believe they blanked them for 20 straight innings in a row.
That's correct.
In the process.
That's the only way they were going to win. They don't hit the baseball at all.
Tony didn't hook his boy Bryce Harper up very much with some good pitching, with some meatballs.
No. No meatballs for Bryce. Only afterwards. All right, let me go back here. Let me go back here. Folks are wondering about the portal. I'm going to give a quick update. And then if you want to get in, 865-200-5402. As I thank Joaquin Ruiz for joining, downloading Dayday Ames. Sounds like we got a nice player there in him. Here's the thing about any of these guys. One thing we know, look, they are getting offensive players first. But the guys that are going to play the lion's share of the minutes for Tennessee are going to defend. So let's not fool ourselves. Cinco was asking about,
Tony, let me say this, because remember last week I got into a firestorm where I said something about, even if you give him all of these toys to play, is he going to change the way he coaches?
Yes.
And so the chat just lit up with pitchforks and torches, and you just essentially said the same thing.
Oh, no. If you land all these players, we're talking about landing, the pressures, and Barnes knows that, by the way, the pressure's square on you.
I understand that, but will he change the way that he coaches, the way he manages games, et cetera, or will it be trying to fit offensive players into defensive roles?
I have no idea.
Yeah, well,
really interesting.
I still think it's a legitimate question.
Yeah, can an old dog learn new tricks, right? He's showing us here that he's willing to at least bring those types of players onto his campus, which I think shows growth, or it shows being nimble. You and I were talking off the air before we do this portal update. I want to just engage this one more time. I think it's interesting that on here you can speak critically of the baseball coach and the baseball program, and most people don't bat their eye at it, which we have done. Even when Tony was here, Tony would get furious at me for my opinions at times, but I always gave my opinion. Always gave my opinion. In basketball, I've always given my opinion, will always give my opinion. Not worried about it. And in football, I will always give my opinion and have always given my opinion. I think it's really interesting, and Bino got mad at this the other day, Sean, but I think it's really interesting that they knew with this football program that they had an issue at quarterback. And Matt and Brian sort of came to the conclusion yesterday they thought they were going to win their court case. And I'm just going to say it out loud. I don't care who it offends, who upsets you, makes you mad. I don't get that. I don't understand that. I'm watching what Rick Barnes is doing with his roster. I'm watching what Tony Vitello did with his. And I just don't understand what Josh Heupel has done here in the portal. And the messages are so mixed. And Bino's getting angry right now. He's going to say something about it Friday too. I mean, that's fine. We're going to be at Calhoun's Friday. But here's the thing I don't understand. They knew they needed a quarterback. Otherwise, they weren't flirting with the guy from Arizona State. And Lane Kiffin knew he needed a quarterback. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come up on the tarmac and gotten the guy from Arizona State, who got hurt anyway and now has had surgery. But it's obvious that Tennessee knew at the time they needed a quarterback, or they would not have had the kid on the tarmac in Knoxville, and they wouldn't have hosted the kid. What I don't understand and won't understand is why they didn't sign one. Because now, as Watson Brown just said, and again, I'm going to go into this basketball portal thing, and I'm not using the basketball portal as a cudgel with which to beat on Josh Heupel. I'm not doing that. I'm making an observation. Guess what? I do a talk show. And guess what else? I'm not going to change. If I played the hits and played pop music like other people do, and kissed everybody's rear end, maybe I'd be like further along and have more money in the bank. I put my head on my pillow at night and I sleep well. Well, I don't sleep well because that's another story for another day. But it's not for those reasons that I don't sleep well. But let's go back here. I don't, for the life of me, understand why in the transfer portal era, when a quarterback, let me think about college football for a second. What is a quarterback in today's day and age? It's kind of everything. It's kind of everything. Now, I don't understand why they didn't go out and get a quarterback. They knew what they have on the roster. They've got a kid, and they've got GMAC. And Orange Throat made a really good point in a blog a couple weeks ago that's kind of been reverberating around in my brain. Let me ask you something about this GMAC feller and their trust level of him. If I'm playing a quarterback that's having trouble throwing the ball at the end of the year, and they knew internally what was going on with him, okay? He didn't hide it from everybody. He was having discomfort throwing the ball, and it showed in his play. And Joey Aguilar is a tough SOB, okay? Tough guy. But don't you think you would have taken McIntyre and put him out there against, I don't know, somebody down the stretch? If you trusted him a little bit? Just a little bit. And I'm not beating on that kid either. I'm just wondering what we're doing here. I'm watching Tennessee basketball swing for the fences here. And I've said this a couple weeks ago. And people get mad when I say this. Get mad. I don't care. Get mad. If we're swinging for the fences in basketball and we are a football school, why are we not swinging for the fences in football? Can I ask that? I mean, I'm not trying to be... And Danny White, by the way, is charging swinging for the fences prices. I know Josh Heupel's a great guy. I know we're not allowed to criticize him. I realize that. And everybody gets, they're boxers in a bunch and, and people click off the YouTube thing and I'm talking about it and the views and you lose your... I'm not here to kiss anybody's ass. But here we've come out of a spring and people are saying, yeah, UT's got quarterback issues. We all knew that. Didn't we know that? And then they're going to say, well, you're the guy that said you didn't want Aguilar because you wanted to see something different. I want to see what they brought in. I want to see the guys they brought in here. Because you're building for 27, yes. But I want to see a competent level of play. I mean, if I had a chance to do that over again, obviously. Because I'm telling you, these guys better grow an awful lot between now and then. And I'm not trying to be funny here. What I'm saying on here is not something I said the same thing on Plaster Show yesterday. These guys had some serious growing to do. And Kelly Holcomb said, about GMAC, he said, it's funny you're talking about that inconsistency. He said, that's exactly was my concern about him in high school. He said, 1 minute he's way up here, and the next minute the floor is so low you can't find it. And I'm going, well, geez, that's not good. But that's not my job to recruit these people. That's not my job to recruit these people. But for some reason, when you're critical of Josh Elander and his feel for it, and every move he makes is blowing up in his face, and he's not running a tight ship, and this, that, and the other, that goes by whatever. And when you talk about Rick Barnes and this basketball team, and they didn't get a 2-guard, and they failed to do that, and they had an incomplete roster, but they coached the hell out of them, but they still had an incomplete roster, you're allowed to say that. But when you say about Josh Heupel, where is the fire? Why weren't you, and why haven't you been more active in the portal since you've been here? Let me ask you something. If Rick Barnes could go and sit down with the 2 big boosters over the weekend and raise himself a couple $1 million, where they're now going to be one of the top of the mark players in the portal, you think football could do that? I'm just asking for a friend. I'm just asking for a friend. So this whole concept of, I'm just trying to make sense. I want somebody to help me make sense of this. So you're involved with this kid from Arizona State, and then from him you go to the kid from Kentucky, who nobody wanted, who proved he couldn't play at this level. Wasn't there like, I don't know, a list of people in between? Because I'm not the one making $10 million. And I'm not the one they're going to have the fans all over my ass this fall. And I'm going to kind of say, it's sort of a tweener year, and, you're at a 6.5 win total, and you were in a playoff 2 years ago, which is a great accomplishment. And a couple years before that, you would have been in that 18 playoff pretty easily. So this guy's had a pretty good run here. But the quarterback thing has been so odd since he's been here. And the portal thing has been so odd. So odd. Am I wrong, Sean? It's just odd. We don't act like a have in football with the transfer portal.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I hear you, and I've agreed with you a lot. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not in fifth gear yet. I'm in third, going to fourth gear with that. And the way I'm looking at it now is not the same way I looked at it before. I thought that he slow played the receiver position last year in the portal. Come to find out, Brandon Staley, Mike Matthews, and Brazel, who people can say what they want, and we've taken the heat. Brazel, his first year here, was exactly what everyone you hinted at, we hinted at. He made a huge jump his last year.
Sure did.
It was totally different. Maturity level, effort level, concentration level, social habit level. I'll say it, just saying all that stuff. He became he took advantage of his contract year, we'll say. But anyway, they proved to be right on that. I thought they slow played. They were very, for guys that are supposedly quarterback-centric, quarterback wizards, I think they've been sleepy on that. I think they would have just thought they could get better play out of Nico, even if he hadn't transferred. If he would have stayed, I think they were foolish, because I don't think Nico's going to get any better. I think he is what he is right now, and will always be that. But they did a wonderful job with Aguilar. Now this year, sure, the quarterback. I think if they had to turn around again and you had that extra money, they probably would have taken a harder pass at Sorsby. I know his girlfriend was at Texas Tech, but his whole family's here. It's just from Cincinnati. If you throw out the money, but the guys, the halves are people that are just they're market breaking halves. They're Texas Tech. They're LSU with Lane Kiffin, desperation or new rich kind of things. But what he did do was he addressed strength and conditioning by going to get the best. I mean, he took the strength and conditioning guy from the biggest nut cutter in college football. At Indiana. He took him, paid him top of the market plus for that guy. He went and got. We thought he would be hesitant, but in fairness, he went and got arguably the best defensive coordinator. And I'm not talking about defensive coordinator like Matt Patricia when you have the best talent. I'm talking about the best defensive coordinator, whatever level he's at, in Jim Knowles. Allowed him to bring in his people, allowed him to bring in his players. So yes, I think that if I had to sum it up, I think that Josh Heupel is a sharp cookie, but I don't know that he's razor sharp, and that's that slight little bit of difference. But on the other hand, I'm so glad a man like him, and I don't know all his inner skeletons or whatever. I'm glad he's our head coach. I'm glad the program he runs. At this time in college football, you just wonder if that extra little bit is maybe missing. Again, I don't want him fired. I love him as head coach. I want him to win a national championship, and I really appreciate the way he represents my university.
Nick Jackson has a good point. He said you guys are assuming, and me in particular, that this entire conversation is that the quarterbacks suck. We don't know that right now. That's very true. They might round into form by the time the season rolls around. I wouldn't bet on that, but they might. My point is that I'd like a little more urgency. Is my point.
Well, but there's a difference. You can be very talented, but not experienced and ready, and that's a subtle difference. You can absolutely be 5-star talented. Take a look at Bryce Underwood Bryce Underwood is as talented or more talented than both our guys we have. And he had moments, and he had other kind of moments too.
Yeah.
So, you can be extremely talented. Look at Cade Klubnik at Clemson, how he blossomed over there. But right now, with this gauntlet of schedule, with last year was a underwhelming year. Now you're talking about kind of another kind of like that year. The pressure ramps up. The money's coming on. You can be extremely talented and be not ready for the prime time. And I think that's where you and I are coming from. We both think that GMAC and them could be very good prospects and players in time, but we don't have 3 years to wait.
That's exactly that, and that's the point. And my whole thing is one of the reasons why I was thinking, it'd be fun to kind of press the button and let these kids play. And I'm still of that mindset. Then again, they gave us mixed signals when they got involved with the kid from Arizona State. That made no sense. Oh, and I don't know how you got from that top of the mark guy, and then you don't do anything else. You bring in a kid from Colorado who literally, that guy's never going to play here. So, but anyway, And anytime you mention anything, you can say anything you want to say about basketball, anything you want to say about baseball. But if you mention football in any way, shape, or form, in any critical fashion, you just get attacked. It's just an interesting thing. It's just a very interesting, and I'm watching what they're doing in the basketball transfer portal. It's apples and oranges. I understand that. The two sports are apples and oranges. I totally get that. Tennessee is comporting itself as an absolute have in that sport. They're comporting themselves as if they're a basketball school and have been for the last 100 years. They're comporting themselves like they're Kentucky right now, quite honestly. And it's wild to watch this. I mean, they're comporting themselves with a sense of urgency I don't know that we've seen. And on the front of the portal, my two things I was promising you was they were going to be all in, and they were going to go offensive. And they are all in, and they're going offensive. And well, let me do this. I got to get a brief timeout in, and then we come back, get some calls in. I also got to do this portal update. But I just wanted to get that off my chest. Regarding football, because it's going to be really interesting this fall between the expectations. And here's the thing. Nobody knows what anybody has on these rosters anymore. The Vols might end up 9-3, 10-2, and I'm all wet. Like Cinco said last year with the wide receiver position, because we did not expect that kid that transferred from Tulane to do what he did. Because his work habits were the year before kind of laughable, really. But they put up with it. And he bloomed. He blossomed. They got it out of him. So we come back on the other side. Is Tony getting heat from the AD? Rodney asked. Inquiring minds want to know. Is that what's happening? Is Danny putting the heat on me? As we continue with more after this. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. Waterside Contracting, LLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dos with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka. Handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times, 80 proof of vodka, delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready, because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. I do want one other thing I do want to say. I want to echo something Sean said about Heupel. I do appreciate the person he is, and I also think he's had a pretty damn good tenure here. I just wonder sometimes about our approach, but that's another story for another day. We no doubt are heading for an overtime. To our callers, please hang in. I've been promising that we're going to get a portal update, so let me go ahead and give that to you, and then we'll go to the phones at 865-200-5402. First of all, Jalen Harrelson from Notre Dame. I'm referring to him as a key component to this thing. A key component to this thing. We believe, they believe, that in the next day or so, we're going to hear something officially with him in Tennessee. And when that occurs, it will be highly significant in this class. The second thing that I will report, and we're just going to go through these in bullet point fashion, then we'll get back to the phones. Tennessee badly wants Terrence Hill from VCU. I believe the Vols are willing to pay his asking price. I'm not sure Kansas was. He left Lawrence without a commitment. And here's the thing. Different programs value different guys for different reasons. And it only takes one to fall in love. It's another thing we say on here. Why in the world is J.P. Estrella making around $4 million to play for Michigan? It only takes one to fall in love. And as Tavares once said, it only takes a minute, girl, to fall in love, which is a great jam in E-flat, C minor. But Terrence Hill from VCU, we believe, has an asking price of around $3 million, and we believe the Vols are going to meet the asking price for the guy that single-handedly took his team from double digits back. I want to say, Bri, how many were they down by, VCU, in that against North Carolina, Bri? How many were they down by in that game, Bri? 20? 21?
Yeah, they were down 19 in the second half.
He basically
they were down double digits with like 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, he single-handedly said, "Follow me," and knocked North Carolina out of the game. The Vols won him. Because here's the thing. If you prove to me you can do it in the NCAA tournament under the bright lights against a North Carolina, you've proven it to me. And they highly value him. And I believe they're going to pay his asking price. Now, does that mean they're going to get him? I don't know. Is somebody going to come in? Because here's the thing. Here's how the portal works. When J.P. Estrella went into the transfer portal, do you know where the glitterati of men's basketball thought he was going. They thought he was going to Indiana and Hot Rod Clark. And there's a pretty good reason for that, because he was probably going to go to Indiana and Hot Rod Clark. But Michigan reached out to him and said, oh, they're going to pay you that? How about if we pay you double? How about if we pay you double that? Which is basically what happened. But my belief is Tennessee badly wants Terrence Hill, and I believe they will pay, and I believe they will meet his asking price of $3 million to get him. So if you're checking your boxes right now, they brought the big kid in from Loyola Chicago and got him. They really wanted him. They brought the guard in, who we unpacked earlier in the hour, all day, all the time, and they got him. I believe Jalen Harrelson is the big piece to the puzzle because he opens the door. And they're going to get him, it looks like. And I think they're going to meet Terrence Hill's asking price. All of a sudden, in the last little bit, after all this clamoring and stammering and Dave on here, I give Dave credit Friday because he was catastrophizing, and then he wasn't. But now Pete Nakos over at On 3 is saying that Tennessee is trending well for Juke Harris. Tennessee's always felt good about him. Friday, I had to hold my tongue on here when I knew they were visiting with him on Sunday. And all I could say to you at the time was, everybody relax. Everybody relax. Everybody relax. Relax, 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 relax. The Tennessee has already told, I believe, Juke Harris's people that they will match Michigan and what Michigan's willing to pay him in base salary. So, also remember, he does share an agent. He does share an agent with the aforementioned Jalen Harrelson. Also, Jaden Hastings, big guy from Boston College, is in play for the Vols. We were wondering, where's the big man going to come from? I told you we would dig on that. And I was told that this kid has a connection to Earl Grant, who we believe Tennessee is going to hire. But Earl Grant's now choosing between Tennessee and Ohio State. So we even have like a coaching portal deal going on right now. So there's a pretty decent chance that wherever Jaden Hastings, wherever Grant ends up is where Hastings is going to end up. I don't know. He's a developmental guy, though. He's not a refined big guy. He doesn't have those perimeter skills, but he's a 6'9" banger who will give Tennessee more depth inside and can help you. So the other piece that's out there today, and I apologize for doing that, just allergy season here. I hate to make a sound like that, but here's the thing. Tennessee still has a big, huge bag awaiting their point guard one target. PG1 is not in the transfer portal. PG1, if Tennessee can get home with PG1, would be, in that sport, it would have a tectonic type of effect, it would register on the sports seismograph or Richter scale. If there is such a thing as a Richter scale in college basketball recruiting. So I think this whole aspect of recruiting right now, as we do a snapshot in time, is pretty fluid, but yet it's starting to take shape. And remember, my belief is that the Harrelson guy is a big key in this thing, landing him. They're doing this. In a perfect world, you would have grabbed point guard one, talked point guard one into the portal last week, brought point guard one onto campus. You would have signed point guard one, and you would have rolled from there because you would have had the credibility to build your class. As it is, they're sharing with the people that they're recruiting regarding point guard one. They're doing that. Now, is it going to happen? I've said from the very beginning, I don't know. But if we're going to have like super team status, so to speak, I've been of the mindset that you got to land him. But here's the other little wrinkle that's in the back of all this, okay? And I think it's minute and I think it's remote, but it's worth mentioning. Nate Ament, in the last little bit, has been sliding a little bit in draft projections. Could Tennessee take their bag that they've got dedicated to PG1 and go to Nate Ament and say, hey, last year LeBaron Philon did this and went from a mid to late first round pick into the lottery. And you could do that. We could get you stronger under Garrett Medenwald. You'd gain several pounds. We'd get you bigger, faster, stronger. And you, shout out to the great Rodney Woods, who knew Lee Majors and knows his real name. It's like Yearly or something. You could be the next $6 million man. Bigger, faster, stronger, with a bionic ankle. Tennessee right now feels like they're rolling in the portal. They feel like they're on a roll here. I'm not counting my chickens, but they think they're going to get the Harrelson guy. We'll see what happens. Again, if they don't, I didn't do it, but I have to share with you in real time what we believe is going on. We'll take some calls in our extra full report there. Brian, if you had an opportunity, and Brian knows point guard one, are you going point guard one, Bri, if left to your own devices, or are you going, Bri, point guard one, Bri, or Nate Ament?
Or Nate Ament.
Yes. Where are you going, Bri?
I think I will opt for Nate Ament because he's been in the program a year. If you get Nate Ament, and if you can get him, because there's a better version of Nate Ament in college basketball that we didn't see.
Yep.
And if that better version, if you can get that out of him, if you can convince him to come back one more year, you could cut the nets down with that best version of Ament. I believe that. With or without PG1.
It's an interesting issue to talk about. It's not one I thought we would be talking about. Look, again, this stuff all changes. You can only react to the information in front of you. 5 weeks ago, Maury Hanks was asked, what are the chances Nate Ament comes back here? He said none. 0. Why? Because they don't. they don't do these sorts of things. They don't do these sorts of things. However, when guys slide down a board, and this is just a however, this is the only year where this is going to ever be a case. Because this is a generational class. This is a mid-'80s class in the NBA, is what this is. This is what they think. When you look at last year's class and some of those truck and bodos, shout out to the truck and bozo, that were way on up there, the Harpers of the world. Shit, those guys wouldn't. Those guys wouldn't be in the top 15 right now. Are you kidding me? Shit. Janoy says I need a goatee. Hey, Janoy, I tried to grow a goatee a couple of months back, and it was very unfortunate. Because I would look cool with the bald head and the, like the old guys do with the gray goatee. Unfortunately, I've got this alopecia where my beard is now spotty, and Laura goes, after like 2.5 weeks of it, she goes, "What are you going for?"
Wait a second. You with a goatee, I don't think this world is ready for that level of sexiness.
No, she says to me, "What are you going for?" And I said, I'm kind of growing it out. And she said, it's not working. There was all kinds of...
Look, she doesn't understand your vibe, Tony.
What I'm going to do is one of you guys that knows how to do it, are there seeds? Is there something I can rub on it that you can help me with? Let's go back to the phones. Cinco had to jump right in there on that, the goatee look. A Fu Manchu, I can't even do that, man. My alopecia is such that it wouldn't even let me cooperate.
I just throw the razor over everything. That's what I do.
Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony B, this is Rod in Clarksville.
What's up, Clarksville?
This has been one of the best shows I've heard in probably 2 weeks. I really appreciate
Thank you, Clarksville.
Allowing Watson to come on, and he had some very good points. And I love what he said about towards the end about the quarterbacks needing reps. And we all know that, George McIntyre definitely has more reps than Faison Brandon, over the spring and last year. But what I still see from, unfortunately, George McIntyre is that deer in the headlights look like Justin Worley used to have. And what I see in Faison is someone that is just, no pressure. I'm going to go out here like Steve McNair and do what I need to do.
I think it's too early to judge that. What I hear is, just to be fair to GMAC, the highs are high. But the lows, man, the lows are troubling. And I asked Watson about that, who knows the family, and Watson said, hey, look, yeah, the guys that have the low lows, he said, those guys will get you beat.
Yeah. And you shouldn't have low lows in practice. This is practice.
Cinco, that is kind of, I hate to say he's kind of right, Cinco, but you shouldn't show that kind of thing in practice, Cinco. That is kind of a decent point that hadn't even occurred to me.
Well, I think Rod's hit on, just an incredible point is when you're in practice, everything's scripted, everything's set to your favor. You know what's coming up. You're not getting much pressure at all. And if the more fluid, more natural Steve McNair, Faison, all that stuff that Rod talks about is true, and I've heard the same thing, I think that it'll be interesting to see how it works out in the fall. But I think, Rod, I think you're hinting around to something there, and I'm I'm definitely picking up what you're putting down.
And guys are allowed to get better, Rob. Guys are allowed to get better. And I do think they have a hell of a player in time in this Faison Brandon kid. And one of the things I love about him is the ability to move and just the physical way he looks like he's 23 years old already. That excites me.
Tony, this guy can flat out fly on this field, dude.
Yep.
He can flat out move it.
That excites me.
Tony, another thing I got to say, I'm so glad you brought up the point about Dayday Ames maybe coming back, and that's a very good thing. And if he does decide to come back, I think that Rick Barnes is going to go ahead and do what we've always wanted him to do and go out with a bang and have him some AAU basketball. Whether PG1 comes or not, I think he's going to go out with a bang and have some freaking AAU basketball, something that the ball fans
and gun. And let's go all the way to the Final Four. Hey, I know one thing about Nate Ament in year 2. If he came back healthy and a little stronger, Brian, you imagine trying to guard that guy next year? He was unguardable this year.
If he can stay healthy, I would be. Nate Ament would scare me if I'm an opponent. If I'm an opponent, he would absolutely give me nightmares.
He'd be a living.
But there's
double.
a better version of him. The best version of him is out of this world.
He would hit 32 or 3 times, and he'd be a living double.
He would dominate like Scottie Pippen in his prime. He would dominate.
Yes, sir.
One last thing, Tony.
Yep.
I love, to hear when WLN calls and, you hear all the wisdom out of his calls. And I love how he breaks down the history and, talks about something just, that takes our breath away. And we go, golly.
But he's really good, isn't he? WLN's good. When he takes us under wings. The man takes us under wings. He's like a living history museum.
He really is.
Yep.
And then then we get the phone call from, Titans Bill, and it's like, oh, there we go. Once again, we got to learn about BET. And it's
what do you think of the Titans Bill breaking down his women of color? Thought on that? Sisters and the Oval?
Here's my thought. Here's my thought, Tony.
Go ahead.
Here's my thought. Every rerun of The Love Boat is better than any programming that's on BET right now.
Rod, thank you. You sound like a hater. Back in the day, I was a big Donnie Simpson fan when BET played music. Used to love me some Donnie Simpson. Go! Let's go back to the phones. Cade Phillips, Bry, commits to A&M. What's a better fit, Bry? Cade Phillips to A&M or Carey to Mizzou?
It's all about where they're going to get the most money from, regardless of fit.
But
we saw it with coaches for years. Coaches got into these jobs where they weren't really the best fits for, but they got generational wealth.
I'll say this. Jalen Carey to Missouri, he better lose about 30 to 35 if he's going to play in their system. His tongue will be absolutely touching the floor if he walks out there in anywhere the condition he was here in Knoxville for his 1 year. His tongue will be dragging. He'll look like Michael Jordan in one of those old posters, except his tongue will be hitting his knees. He'll look like on the Kiss Alive 2 album cover, Gene Simmons, Cinco. His tongue will be somewhere down around his midriff, if you will.
Shame on you for comparing Jalen Carey to the great Gene Simmons.
I think that
there is no comparison between those two.
I think Phillips will play well in buckyball. He's very athletic. He'll be nice and loosey-goosey, and he'll be able to do it. But somewhere Steve Lapis is golfing with his buddies, and like Wartburg Fight Club just came across and said, somewhere, somehow, somewhere.
BYU guard Rob Wright will stay at BYU. Kentucky was wanting him very badly. So I guess that makes Kentucky a Rob Wright wannabe.
Rob Wright wannabe. Let's go. Cade Phillips, if he goes to A&M, it's a great fit for him. Great athlete. Lots of open floor. Do your stuff. Do your thing. Ooh, man. Back to the phones we go. Yep. Queen Kimmy adding players from Georgia. That new assistant coach they hired brings 2 in. I tell you what, poor Kentucky. We're getting people we want. They're getting nobody they want. The mid-cats, man. The mid-cats. The mid-cats. All right, so yesterday, Lee Majors came up on here. Cinco, did you watch $6 Million Man back in the day?
Of course I did. Nothing was cooler than Lee Majors.
All right.
Steve Austin, $6 Million Man you're referring to.
$6 Million Man. The great Rodney Wood sent me a text last night. He was listening back to the show. He said the following. Tony, I heard you talking on the show about Lee Majors. Real name, Harvey Yeary. What's a better name, Cinco? Lee Majors? He named himself after Johnny Majors. He was from right over the Tennessee line, Kentucky line. All-state football player at Middlesboro City School. Then he went on, which is now Middlesboro High School. Then he went on to Eastern Kentucky University to play football. Gave it up after 1 year, maybe 2, to pursue an acting career. He said the football field at Middlesboro is still Lee Majors Field at Bradner Stadium. And I told him, I said, that's very interesting. He said, yeah, I grew up about 15 minutes from him. Remember watching him in the Kentucky East-West High School All-Star game in the afternoon, and then watching my first cousin played for Kentucky play in the All-Star game that same night. And I said, that's really, really cool. And then I asked Rodney, did you ever meet Farrah? Because Cinco, I had to go there. And he never replied.
You're obligated.
He never
obligated.
He never replied.
I can see why he changed his name.
You don't like Harvey Yeary?
I can see why he would change his name.
I mean, you're $6 Million Man and you got Farrah Fawcett. That's quite a resume right there.
I would say back in the day, he was what you call holding it down. As they say in my
he was not holding it down. He was stacking it up, brother.
As they say in my neighborhood, he was holding it down. The $6 Million Man, Friday nights, followed by, make no mistake, The Bionic Woman, and then somewhere in there was the Rockford Files. Make no mistake about it, that was a great night of television. And I still have nightmares, okay? I still have nightmares about, they did one with a guy that had a face, and then they ripped his face off, and there were circuits under it. I still have nightmares about that robot.
Cyborg.
I can still see it. But let's go back to the phones. Thank you, Rodney.
I used to get scared with the opening of Fantasy Island.
Shout out to Harvey Yeary. And let's go back to the phones. Valdad said Queen Kimmy's going to prove us wrong. No, she's not, Valdad. She's going to get terminated after next season. But good for you for thinking that. And I'm not rooting against her, but you have to have players at this level if you're going to win. 2 okay players from Georgia. It will be interesting, though, to watch her see these kids run around and, what are you going to do? By the way, Brian, I'm texting with the great Mike Monaco, who's going to join us in the next couple days. I love Mike. Brian, I got a crush on Mike Monaco. Go! Guy's unbelievable, Andy! All right, let's go back to the phones. Get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You are on our overtime.
Hey, Brian Hartman. Yesterday you torpedoed me. You're not going to torpedo me again. Are you listening to me?
Sean St. Clair, are you hearing this? Brian Hartman torpedoed the man.
What's the difference between torpedoed and snack cake?
Did I talk about muscular men?
Easy.
Like I brought up yesterday on the Lookouts new ballpark, Erlander Field, and you thought that shouldn't be a discussion. And I got a good look at that stadium yesterday.
I don't think I said that. I don't think I said that.
I believe you did, Brian. Come on. You torpedoed me.
It wasn't original. It wasn't I wasn't the first one to say it.
Well,
what did Brian say something to you yesterday?
I just want to know, have you seen any more muscular men on TV today?
Okay, let's go back to this. Let's go back to this. I
think I'm throwing a 5-yard penalty flag on that one.
Bill, you came on here yesterday and mentioned some show that Brian was surprised you were partaking in. What was it?
Oh, All the Queen's Men, the one that Ava Marcel is the star of on Black Entertainment Television. Yeah, she runs a little strip joint here with black muscular men. That's what I discussed yesterday.
I'll tell you this, and I'm going to shout him out right now. I want to shout out Chris Burke, who the last time I saw him at Calhoun's a few weeks back, that man looks like he works out frequently. He is a white muscular man. And Sexy Lancey. Sexy Lancey, I looked over Saturday night and looked at your bicep, and I don't know if you were doing it on purpose. Dude, you were flexing like Lane Kiffin in the transfer portal. God, I mean, what are we doing? And
Congrats to Lancey for the finishing the Knoxville Marathon.
And Bill. Tell me about this show again, because I'm thinking about watching it. Hit it.
Well, the only way that you're going to get it is through their streaming site.
What?
BET Plus.
So I need an app for BET? By the way, Sean, have you noticed now with baseball, if you want to watch a full season of Major League Baseball, okay, and you're in one of these markets, in some cases you need like 7 different streaming services. That's where your team's games will air on 7 different platforms, Sean. As a wise man once said, what are we doing here?
I don't know. I checked out when Bill started talking about watching muscular men on TV. He lost me.
No. It's a strip. What is it? It's a stripper. What is the show called again?
All the
muscular men. Hey, Sean, be careful. You don't want to be accused
Ava Marcel stars in it, and she used to be one of the members of the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
That's a hard pass for me. I'm not doing that.
Do you have what we call BET Plus? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm watching a Johnny Cool. It's a mobster-type movie. Henry Silva, Elizabeth Montgomery,
Bill,
Telly Savalas, Sammy Davis Jr.
You're just saying Telly Savalas because I'm bald. Bill, you just mentioned something about BET. Don't go, quit with the bald jokes.
Okay.
Now, how do I watch Sisses?
Well, you can also get that on BET. On your cable.
But you just said I needed an app for that.
No, you could also get it on. You could also get it on cable. It's the same way with the Oval.
Why did you introduce the app into this conversation, Bill? That's redundant. I don't want to download the BET app.
All right, you don't have to download the BET app.
But Brian asked about Brian, ask
Tony, you watching this chat? Shout out to James Daniel Fourth. He said Michigan's 247 insider, just crystal ball Juke Harris to Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to any what's the term I'm using here? Crystal balls on the Juke Harris thing, as I said yesterday. I'm just trying to remain consistent in that, but I do think Tennessee's in really good shape with him.
Okay,
as I've thought since Friday, but I think it might take a while. But anyway, Bill.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Why did you come in here and flaming mad at Brian Hartman? Why?
Well, yesterday I was making the comment about the Lookouts moving into their new ballpark, which is going to be Erlander Park. And I believe one of you gave me the torpedo job. Either it was you or Brian Hartman. And I got a chance to look at that new facility that the Lookouts is playing, and it's a work of art. I mean, A1 quality, like
Bill, is that
the
you
Smoky
calling me?
Stadium.
Is that you? You usually calling him on the air. Is that you calling me?
No, no. I'm calling you. I called you. I called you you called me on your cell phone this morning.
Bill, who torpedoed you yesterday? I want to know. What'd you think? Was it me or Bry? Think about it now.
Okay. I think it was you.
Well, I'm going to get you 2 days in a row. 3, 2, 1. You're out of here. 865-200-5402. Brian, your thoughts on Bill's call? And if you were listening to the show, would you come back after his call?
All we needed was a choking noise and a tomahawk chop.
Basilio's Beak wants odds on whether or not W. Lynn's ever watched All the King's Men.
I want to congratulate Brian for torpedoing it. When you come on this show and start bragging about how much you watch shows with muscular men and all that stuff, I'm with you, Brian. I hear you.
That's a cheap shot, Sean Sinclair. That's a cheap shot. You taking a cheap shot at me?
No, I'm congratulating you. I think that's good stuff.
All right. Let me go back to the phones. I know who that is calling me. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Is this thing on?
Boy. Billy, this thing is on, brother. Welcome in.
I got a call directed at one man today, my boy Titans Bill.
All right.
And if he's interested, man, I got a Titans Bill starter pack for the Atlanta adult entertainment industry. See what kind of woman he's into. Just give him a little game plan if he's going down that Georgia Tech game in September.
I don't think he'll be a player for that. Although his viewing habits, I don't know.
Well, Titans Bill, I'm going to give it to you. Here's my 5-point plan.
Boy, Billy, are you going to make it out of this call in good standing? Now, I want you to think about what you're about to do here, Billy.
I'm ready for it.
Hey, we on YouTube. It's after hours, baby. Step one, I got him. I want, first of all, before I preface anything, Titans Bill, if you're going to partake in this, I recommend staying to the day shift. Night shift is not going to be your scene. Day shift, pre-10 p.m. Number one, I'd stay in the Decatur area. Titans Bill, maybe look at pin-up strokers. Again, be out there before 10 o'clock before the D-boys and scammers start showing up. My second, if you stay out post-game, if you go to Magic City, Tone, Titans Bill, you're going to want to hang out Magic City Monday. You're going to see, a lot of theatrics, Cirque du Soleil type acrobatics. You're going to be fine on the color they care about.
Billy. I can't do this to poor Titans Bill.
Oh, come on.
No.
All right.
What else you got for me, Billy?
I got 3, 4, and 5, but, Titusville, get at me. BoyBillyHarriman@gmail.com if you want my list.
Boybilly from Harriman@gmail.com. Okay, continue.
I mean, you want my list or no?
What else do you have? You were already on hold before he called, so I know you have something else. Boy, Billy, you're an artist.
Well, I have 3. If he's on the west side, hit up Blue Flame Lounge. It's crowded.
Please
stop. Get there early, Titusville.
Please stop. Please stop. Please.
All right. Well, hey, I got 4 and 5. I mean, if you don't want them, you don't want them. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want them.
Well, all right. I'll be good. I got to get back to work. Tax day, you know what I mean?
Thank you, Boy Billy. Some guy just wrote, I'm a random YouTuber who found this show. What are we doing? Go ahead, Sean. I'll let you tackle that. This is from Jacob Bodman. Welcome to the ride, Jacob. Big Beef has said. What are we doing in here, Sean? Would you care to describe what this person's in for?
This is called Third Hour App Only Gold. You will find this under the column of snow closings.
Yes.
Anything related to Butch Jones.
Yes.
And when we can get Titans Bill, Joshy Boy, or someone else to take the bait, that's where Tony B and this show shines.
But we do welcome you in. And
absolutely.
This is a sports radio show. A serious enterprise. We've been going at it for 32 years now, each and every day. We have a lot of fun. We talk about a myriad of issues and subjects. Cinco, you were not a bocce ball boy. Were you a lawn darts guy? And lawn darts back in the day. The ones with the metal tip on them, Cinco, did you ever play with them as a kid?
Yeah, absolutely. We tried to play lawn dart catch, believe it or not, because they really weren't, they weren't that fast. I was not good at it. I did not lose any fingers. Another genius maneuver that we did was we used to remember big wheels?
Oh, I love big wheels.
It's like big wheels. We'd try to jump those mothers over like leaf piles and stuff. That was good for a broken ankle or two. We played these stupid things called bloody knuckles where you'd put a hair comb on your knuckles and the guy would try to catch it before you couldn't flinch and he'd just dig into your knuckles. So it was that. I mean, I went through a decade of stupidity when all those things.
I love bloody knuckles. We used to play that.
But I don't regret any of it.
No, I still have marks on my hands from where we played bloody knuckles, Cinco.
Bloody knuckles. Oh yeah. And I'll tell you what, that's not half as bad as I got in Bishop Girton High School, a Catholic boys' school. Oh, those nuns could bring it.
Oh, my God.
Bring it.
I had a nun one time crack me with a metal roller across my shoulder.
Oh, no, but Sister Roland Furland, she was like 5 feet tall. Goal! She made like 70 pounds. And I think she was a torturer and everything. She would come up with it. You got it easy there. She would have these, you get to pick your punishment. One of the punishments was called Flying Eagles. And you had to stand in the corner and you had to hold these thick dictionaries as wide as you could, like you're doing a side lateral raise. And those things couldn't drop. You had to do another one where she'd put a big circle up on the top on the chalkboard where you'd have to stand on your tiptoes and your nose could come out of that circle. And the punishment was if you didn't do it, you got your dad got called. And let me tell you what, at Bishop Girton, you did not want Tim Sinclair to get a phone call.
You couldn't do that today.
Because that was your ass in today's language.
Well, here's the thing, right? When I got whacked, I went home and told my dad, and I said,
no way would I tell him that.
I thought he would feel my pain.
No, that was just what you got at school would just be the start of what you were getting.
He goes, "What did you do?" And I dummied up. He goes, "What did you do?" And I got double. You're exactly right. I got double punished. I didn't get to watch the Flyers that night.
We call you a slow learner, Tony B.
Solo Grift wants to know. Anybody know any people? People keep talking about this. Somebody with Tyler. Somebody. I don't know what people keep bringing this guy up. Yeah.
With the funny hair.
Boswell to Maryland. Yes, Boswell to Maryland. Boswell to Maryland. Yep. Maryland's what you call floundering in major college basketball. Floundering deal. We were talking about that before. Tennessee. Brian, you and I were talking off the air. It's so weird to think about Tennessee beating out the likes of Michigan, North Carolina for a player they want. Last year, beating out Duke for a player they wanted.
I'd like to beat out Michigan in the NCAA tournament one time, but that's neither here nor there.
Solo Griff, Tony, just say what you know. Thank you. I'm a big fan of your work, Jesse. Oh, that's another thing. Here's what I know.
How about back to our phones, Guts? He comes up with, I've got a couple crystal balls.
All right, let's go back to the
I love the chat.
The chat is for morons. Hello and welcome.
No,
and a Cristobal.
That's awesome.
Juke decision coming soon per Trilly Donovan. This Juke thing might be coming to a head here. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Joshy boy.
Hey, Wingo. How you
Here
doing,
we
bud?
go. Here we go.
Wingo, how'd the Braves do last night?
I didn't get the score.
How about our Braves, Joshy boy?
How'd the Braves do last night, Wingo?
They won. I didn't get the score of that Phillies game last night. Did they win?
Well, they had a 3-1 lead to begin the game for Aaron Nola. And then they went to their bullpen and...
Well, you know, Aaron Nola is the new cash stealer. He's the new Vinny Velo.
No way. Not after Aaron Nola's showing in the World Baseball Classic when he won the hearts of the entire world with Italia's showing. Italia went further in the Baseball Classic than they ever will in the World Cup because they don't even qualify for that damn thing anymore. 3 of the last 4 World Cups, the Azor doesn't even qualify. I mean, what are we doing?
My boy Maldini is crying right now, Tony.
Cinco, can you explain to me how Italy doesn't qualify for World Cups anymore?
Always the historically best defense of all time.
Yes.
And I don't know.
Makes no
Tony,
sense.
who is the new cash stealer for the Phils this year?
Oh, that's to be determined. There's such a wide potential list of those guys at the major league level.
Hey, Doc, how about our boy Dom Smith? He's on a tear so far for the Bravos this season.
Dude, he's on a tear, and you know, since they blacked me out the past 2 years, I didn't know about this catcher we got. What's his name? I like him too. Did he win Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, Drake Baldwin.
I like him, and I like Riley's new haircut. Looks kind of like mine. I'm back in the. What I don't get is what is with Michael Harris and Acuna wearing all these pastel nonsense shoes and guards. When did that become a thing? I don't like it.
I think they just want to look good for the camera, show off like their style and this and that. A lot of players.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all that. But the Braves are back, baby.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm for it.
You bastard.
They're taking the division this year, Tony.
Yeah, but you know what they're not taking?
Tell them what the Braves are going to do with that clipboard, Joshy B.
I may save that for later on this season, but where are they not taking, Tony?
Anything in the playoffs? Let's just start there.
I mean, well, the Dodgers are going to three-peat anyway, so
that's true. And
that don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about, if Tennessee fails to make the Final Four next season in basketball and we build this super team up, your Phils, Polly Joes, and your Negavols are going to come after Barnes and say it's his fault, obviously. What do you guys think about that?
I don't care.
Who cares?
Hey, listen.
I love me some Georgie boy, but
swing for the fences, man.
He's a one act play with that deal.
Swing for the fences, my friend. Swing for the fences. I love this.
Yes, I love it too. And
Juke Harris and the Vols, John. What do you think about that?
I love it. Let's go.
Juke Harris. Yep.
And who was the guy you were talking about from BC earlier, Tony?
We're talking about a center from Boston College. Let me find the name for you.
And I want to talk it into existence. Nate Mint coming back. I'm feeling the heat on that.
No. We're not going to talk about that. Jaden Hastings is his name.
Hastings. How tall is he, Tony?
He's 6'8". He's a banger.
Okay. I want a 7-foot center.
He's
on this
actually
team.
6'9". Yeah, everybody wants
Barnes
a 7-footer.
needs to go after a 7-foot center.
Interesting. Thank you, my friend.
All right.
Thank you. I love me some Joshy boy. Yesterday, I gave him the clipboard. Hello and welcome in on the phones. What a difference a couple days can make in the portal. Juke Harris was all but going to Michigan over the weekend. Tennessee had no chance. They were going to lose all their play. Now they're getting all the players they wanted. Isn't that interesting? Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, it's Bobby.
Hey,
I'm sorry. I've been away the last couple minutes, just waiting on hold here and doing something. Did Juke Harris commit to Tennessee today? I'm sorry, I must have missed that.
No, sir. There are a couple. The Michigan 247 insider said that he gave a crystal ball for that.
He did not.
Take it for what it's worth.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for helping me understand, as I'm overwhelmed on tax day.
I bet.
Guys, I just want to say that yesterday, Tony, you said you'd rather have Juke Harris over Ament, and I think that it's one or the other. So whatever one, you got to pick your side there, because I think they're going to command the same amount of money. I'm not saying you, just ad hoc. I think you need to pick your side, whatever you want, because they're going to command the same amount of money. I don't think we're going to get $28 million to go get both of them. But I wanted to ask you guys, you were talking about, I was not a Catholic school kid, so you were talking about Catholic school punishments, right? These nuns you speak of, I mean, were they, how do I say this? Did they take joy in beating the likes of you guys with a stick?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's incredible.
I can't confirm or deny this, but my boy Richard Cuff got poppy with one of the nuns, and she got I can't confirm this, but apparently when we were freshmen, and one of the seniors ended up giving him a swirly, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you connect those two dots, but I think she had something to do with it.
She ordered the code blue. Is that what you're saying here?
She ordered the code porcelain. Exactly.
And let me tell you, man, when you got the code blue thing coming at you in school back then, it was not like today where you had rights, victims' rights, or and there were no rights. Yeah. You had zero rights.
Took it.
Yeah.
That even came into my generation, man. If you're a freshman and the senior started messing with you, the last thing you do is talk about it.
Well,
I'll tell you another mistake you do is you don't. My mom, she had no business giving me advice. So we were a coat and tie school.
Yeah, us too.
And so she had the bright idea that clip-on ties would be the thing. Wear your clip. Oh, Jesus. Wear the clip-on tie. It'll be easy. You just keep them in your locker. Buddy, let me tell you what. Those clip-on ties went down the toilet so fast. And because I didn't have a tie on, I got hammered. Oh, Roberto.
I cannot even imagine. We were a dress code school, but not a suit and tie or jacket and tie school. And we got popped for if our shirt was untucked. So I can't even imagine what it would be like in a coat and tie.
Oh no,
school.
these were upper class guys just coming ripping your clip on right off and just chunking it.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, and then beating you promptly with it, or the like. I would like to say this, and I'll leave you with this, guys. Maryland took what would have eventually been our backup combo guard, if you will. Texas A&M, who I don't think is as good as Tennessee as a program, took our maybe backup center or maybe starting center because he is pretty athletic. You see where all of our guys are going, or at least where they're being linked. I feel pretty good about where we're heading then. Because if we're having guys who are going to lesser than programs than us,
no question,
that are still, I think that I trust Rick Barnes. I'm a sheep. I guess I'm a sheep,
you're exactly
according
right.
to everybody else.
And I appreciate the call.
I think you're right.
Barnesy said,
the market speaks.
Barnesy said to his staff when he let those guys go, and there was some consternation there. But Barnesy said, hey, look, we lost 11 games with these guys. We can do better. That was his line. All right, I want to repeat this stuff, and then we got to get out of here because I have somebody coming in here today, and we have to straighten this mess up. We got to clean this mess up, or else we'll all end up in jail. Those test tubes in the scale, just get it all out of here. Here's the latest, what we have. First of all, they're telling me now that it's On3 who's reporting that Tennessee and Juke Harris are going to happen. That's significant. And here's why it's significant. On3's national guy, Pete Nakos, started saying that this morning. Essentially that Juke Harris was trending that way. So, did the Michigan site get their information from Nakos? I don't know. I don't know. But it's worth mentioning. Because sometimes we can get into echo chambers when it comes to this stuff. So somebody said that it was actually On3, which would make sense. Moving along. Jalen Harrelson from Notre Dame. Tennessee thinks they're getting him in the next day or so. Could fall today. Could fall tomorrow morning. But they believe that's going to be done. At the same time, now it seems like the winds are blowing with Juke Harris and Tennessee. As we told you earlier in our exclusive report, our belief is that Tennessee has told Harris's agency they will pay his asking price and then some. They will pay whatever Michigan or North Carolina was willing to pay plus to get him. And also remember, Jalen Harrelson and Juke Harris share agents. Terrence Hill from VCU is a bad want from the Vols. They want him badly. They don't just want him, they want him badly. His asking price is $3 million. Kansas, he left Kansas without committing. So, there we go. So that means that if Tennessee gets these guys, they're going to add Harrison, they would add Hill, and they would add Harris. And it would be one of the great hauls we've ever seen here, on top of what they already have. And I'm here to report to you that they still have a huge bag waiting for point guard one. Huge bag. I asked Maury yesterday, would Tennessee take Harris and the kid from Cal? Or not Harris, but Hill and the kid from Cal. And he said, why wouldn't they? So, this thing is coming together. I was taking heat last week for using the term super team. I was just repeating what I was told, what they were attempting to do. I don't know if it's going to come together still. Again, I'm of the belief that if I see point guard one fall, it'll be an all-time great class. And we can start talking super class when point guard one falls. But shout out to Nega and all the Doomers. Nega, when he hears all this and sees all this, is going to be as excited as anybody. I love the fact that we're trying. I love the fact that the sleeves are rolled up. I love the fact that the head coach is engaged in this and has embraced this and isn't running from it, but is on the vanguard of it. And again, I'm not going to say it, but I want you know what I'm thinking, and I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm thinking. Sean and Brian, anything else you guys care to add? Because I got to get out of here. I got to get this place straightened up. I I have a VIP coming in here today.
No, Tone, thanks. Great show, apart from my contributions. But hi, Mark, Titans Bill, and then Billy adding in. But thanks for all the recruiting information. I know you take a beating sometimes for putting out timely information that you're getting. I'd ask the other people to compare that to the other stuff on state-run media where they're good at telling you what the weather was yesterday.
Correct.
That's always the safe play. But when you dance on a tightrope, sometimes you fall. And so I want to congratulate you and appreciate the way you share your information.
Thank you, my brother. Good talking to you. And the thing about the portal is anything can change. It's all comes with a disclaimer, but we all know that by now. I mean, look at this situation with Earl Grant. You know? Earl Grant, everybody under the sun reported, including myself, they were hiring him. And now he's down to Tennessee and Ohio State. Okay. And he's tied to a player, too, that we talked about earlier. This Jaden Hastings, if you want to look him up. But we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to write about. Check us out at tclub.team. Vols get a commitment and I'm near a device. We'll go live. We'll go live and talk about it. They get somebody big. In the meantime, love you, appreciate you. Duke Harris News, the blowing of the winds today has got to make you feel good. But we appreciate you. Hope you have a great day. Be blessed. G to the B to the O. And Friday, come see yours truly and Be No live down at Calhoun's. Man, it's beautiful outside. We love you. God bless. Let's go. Fun stuff. Well, how about that little turn of events there, y'all? I'm not going to lie to you. I was getting a little concerned last week, but they were telling me, don't believe what you're hearing. And hang in there and share with people not to freak out. And I did. So we'll see what happens. Never thought I'd see this Barnes guy in this mode.
Like it seemed like he was growing anxious regardless of the national championship. So I don't know. I don't think they were thought to be a contender this year.
No, but they have no club.
Bringing juice in, but they can't hit, man.
No, they can't hit.
Believe it or not, I watched on MLB on YouTube. I'll watch their highlights the next morning, and they just can't hit the ball. I mean, I think they have the second worst record in the baseball, and they've got to be in the bottom 5 in hitting.
It's just miserable.
Yeah,
just miserable. You know, just utterly. Absolutely, completely, and totally miserable. In 162 games of that, man, I don't know.
I'm not sure he's wired for that disappointment. No. He is a winner, and I think winning either on the recruiting trail or on the diamond, I think that's his oxygen.
Brian, last night, baseball team starting to hit the baseball. Manny Marin had himself an evening, did he not?
Or as some would say, Manny Marin.
Yep.
Shout out Georgia play-by-play guy down in Athens. But
yep.
Manny Marin had 6 RBIs in the Grand Slam. We're back to hitting Grand Slams, Tone.
Hey. You know, and Negadave's got another point about Tony. Tony couldn't, his roster. Can't control your roster, Cinco, at San Francisco. You can't go out. You can't recruit out of that. The spot you're in. That looks totally miserable for poor Tony.
Correct. I'm sorry. And I think they set him up where he was going to be kind of like a caretaker, that they were going to rely on analytics and a lot. I think Ron Washington, Bocce, and some of those other guys to kind of help him out. But to add to the Manny stuff, I heard a third one. Someone said that in South Florida, a very common pronunciation of his spelling of his name is Marin. So it's MR is kind of like one sound. neither Marin or Marin. It's Marin. So we've got a third candidate for the last name of our shortstop.
Yep, and we got a Bocce. So Brian, we've got Bruce Bocce. Make sure Brian knows that, because that's what Senko just called, which I love. I played bocce ball as a kid. It's Bocce. But Senko, did you play? Did you ever Senko? Did you ever play bocce?
I don't give a rip about Bruce Bocce.
Wait a second, Senko. Inquiring minds want to know. Did you play bocce ball as a kid? Inquiring minds want to know.
I did not play ball. I played it. I was married to an Italian,
right?
And I went to men's club socials.
Yes, and you saw it, right?
Knights of Columbus.
There you go. You saw it. You know.
I know, baby.